to talk to you now about stage 3 challenges. So this is the upper level challenges that I've created, actually using math formulas before you put the code on the grid. I've done this with my 6th grade high ability math students, and they were very successful. I would also do this with high school students who it's part of their curriculum. So middle school, high school, but I wouldn't put it past any elementary school kids if they were up for a challenge. So for these challenges, I always give the kids like a whiteboard or a piece of paper with a pencil, because they're going to be doing the math using the formulas first before they put anything on the grid. So that's how I tie in those formulas. The goal here being that they use just the math for placement rather than counting or adding on from a previous point. So by this point, they're used to using Bricklayer Light Level 3. Maybe just the formulas are kind of new to them, but they've had some background with them. So as I'm looking at the first challenge, it's about line segments, perpendicular, parallel, and how the slopes of those lines relate to one another. So I think that's really great. Usually in math classes, we have the kids doing the math and then seeing it on paper, but it's a way different. I mean, it really makes a mark. It's really memorable when they can do the math and then code it and visually see, that is why the perpendicular lines, their slope is opposite. I see it. So I really have better retention with my math kids when I use this method of doing the math and then seeing the math. So that's just one benefit of using Bricklayer in your math classes. So the challenge 1 has to do with slope. I'd like to kind of show you a little bit of challenge 2, which is dealing with area, perimeter, circumference. So I'd have them code some rectangles, some squares. I would not have them start with area on this. Just put some rectangles and squares on there, and then they would be using the coordinates to plug in and find the distance of a line segment, and then use those distances in their area formulas. So that can be really fun. Of course, their answers might all be different because they coded different size squares and rectangles, but then also there's a teaching opportunity. They can turn to their partner and they can figure out their partner's area perimeter. You could even have them like musical chairs rotating around the room. So it's limitless. There's a lot of possibilities in there. So that would be using line segments and put 2D functions, circles and rings, everything they've used in the other ones. Challenge 3 is a really fun one. So this is when I would have them, it's like an aha moment. They don't know what they're doing until they've done it. And it's really exciting for them to see. I would have them code a circle, any size circle. So I'm going to do one for you just so you can see what it looks like. Set the radius. I set it at 4. The color and the midpoint. Let's see, I'll do. Oh, gotta widen my base plate there. Run that. And then I would say, okay, you guys, now I want you to create a square that fits right over that circle. So the circle is right in the middle of that square. So they would do that after some trial and error. But the fun thing is you ask them once they've completed that square around that circle, you ask them, so what do you notice about the relationship between the circle measurements, the diameter, the radius, and the width of your square? So they might have to look at the numbers, they might have to count it out, they might have to talk to their partner to figure it out, but what they would notice is that if you were putting the square on the outside of a circle to fit perfectly around it, is that the width and the length, all sides of a square equal, would be the same distance as the circle's diameter. So you could start talking about the relationships between shapes. You could have a lot of fun with this. I've even gone a little bit into Fibonacci sequence with coding. So, I mean, it's really whatever your kids are interested in, you could take them there. But like I said, it's really fun to see those mathematical formulas visualized on the grid, malleable, so they can work with them, move them around, and kind of see what that does to the math. So I hope you can use stage 3 challenges with your middle school and high school math kids.